Like, test. Test. It's a punch. Come on. Test. Test. First issue, I have no idea what happened with this one.
Welcome back to Harrisonburg. It's 5-0 in favor of the Turks as the Tom Sox come to bat in the top of the third inning. Luke Dad-Carney, Dylan Price bringing you this one from Eagle Field. I'd like to thank the Turks for their hospitality here tonight. This is the one place we've come to do road games, starting last season with Nathan Schwartz and Alex Rocco, and now carrying it on here as the Tom Sox trail 5-0, and Ryan Wynn, the shortstop, digs in. He was hit by a pitch his first time at the plate, but Tom Sox were unable to get him around, and that was kind of set the tone here for the early innings.
It did. Stryker doing a great job there to, as you mentioned, limit the bleeding a little bit. But now it's about the bats trying to get back on track here and tap into a little bit of the offense they had in the early going last night. But this is also an offense that Luke was stymied really from their 7-run performance in the third. They tacked on one in the fourth, but after that they were blank. They were still able to survive against Covington, though.
When swings on that next pitch, it's a slow roller to short, and a great play made by Spencer Butt, charging to the lip of the green turf and throwing out the speedy Win by a step as one shortstop grounds out to another, and the Tom Sox have one out here in the the top of the third inning. I'll bring up Tommy Roldan, wearing his navy blue and orange UVA helmet. First pitch is swung on and missed on a fastball. 0-1.
Roldan been one of the most consistent hitters on this Sox team. 4th on the team in batting average, 4th on the team in ribbies, and almost playing every day.
The 0-1 fastball down and away, and Roldan goes fishing and misses 0-2.
Even the other day, his idea of an off day, well, he got the start pitching. Pitched 2 innings, scoreless against the Generals.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, and Roldan has something to say to the Turks catcher as he walks back to the dugout. Not really sure what that's all about, but regardless, the Tom Sox first 2 hitters in the top of the third go down quickly.
Matt Delgado exchanging words there with Tommy Roldan. We'll see if that comes to anything later. Well, Roldan just walked back to the dugout while Delgado was saying to the ump, "You hear that?"
Well, Delgado is from California. It's not like they know each other as the first pitch from
Highly
Morton
unlikely.
to Johnny Lopez comes in for a strike.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably highly unlikely.
The 0-1 to Lopez, hit on the ground, couple of hops, and the first baseman, Canizaro, picks it up 3-1 over to Morton covering, and 1-2-3 go the Charlottesville Tom Sox in the top of the third inning. Things going from bad to worse here early as the Sox trail 5-0, and the Turks come into the plate for the third time as they will look to add to the lead. We go to the bottom of the third, 5-0 Harrisonburg on Tom Sox TV. Tom Sox will look to hold the Turks scoreless in an inning for the first time here this evening as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Turks with a 5-0 lead, and coming to the plate with hitters number 5, 6, and 7 against Chase Stryker. Luke Ned Carney, Dylan Price joining you here from Harrisonburg. So it's been a tough start for the road team.
Leading off, the second baseman, Taylor Evans from Wingate.
Evans out of Wingate, which is just outside of Charlotte, hits the first pitch sharply on the ground, up the middle. It makes the pitcher, Stryker, do a little bit of a dance, but Landon Bruce ranges over behind the second base bag and whips it over to first in time. So a nice defensive play there by the Tom Sox. Landon Bruce to get the leadoff hitter.
Last thing you need is with the Turks leading 5-0 to see them get any more offense, any more base runners up there. And for Landon Bruce there, it was second time around able to make the play.
That'll bring up Matthew Delgado, the catcher, out of Rogers State University, which is located in Oklahoma.
Quite a ways away from Virginia.
Can only assume it's named for the late, great Will Rogers as he looks at ball 2 upstairs. Claremore, Oklahoma, to be exact. As Delgado takes a strike, 2-1. Their mascot, the Hillcats.
What is a Hillcat?
I don't know, but there's also the minor league Lynchburg Hillcats, about an hour south of us. So clearly it's something, as the 2-1 is upstairs, 3-1.
It's leading me to investigate.
As I'm informed that Rogers State University was not named for Will Rogers, but rather his son, or excuse me, his father, Clem Van Rogers.
And their mascot is a fictitious cousin of the Bobcat. That's actually per their website.
The 3-1 is hit foul. It's a full count to Delgado with the bases empty, 1 away. Curveball, payoff, called third strike. That might have been Chase Stryker's best pitch of the evening, as now the Tom Sox have retired the first 2 Turks batters quickly in order.
There was some movement in the Sox pen, but after Stryker retired that first one with the nice Bruce play, now the strikeout, there's not been much more movement since.
Tom Sox looking for their first 1-2-3 inning on defense, and now for the Turks' perspective, it's up to Ethan Murdoch to keep this inning going. He takes a strike. Now working quickly, Stryker with 2 away, bases empty. The 0-1 is downstairs for a ball, 1-1.
Stryker's off-speed stuff really nailing his mark here. Fastball has come and gone. Was a little bit hittable in the last inning, but off-speed stuff has really been his bread and butter right now.
The 1-1 is hit a mile in the air, foul territory, first base side. Robbie Levy heading over toward his own first base dugout, and right in front of his teammates, he calls off Jack McMullen and makes the catch in that pancake mitt. And just like that, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, both teams here in the third inning. But the Tom Sox have some work to do. It's 5-0 Turks. We'll head to the fourth right after this on Tom Sox TV. Back in Harrisonburg, 5-0. The Turks lead the Tom Sox as we head to the top of the fourth, and it's time to turn it over to Dylan Price.
Luca, I thank you as the Turks lead 5-0 here. Sox, as you alluded to at the end of the previous frame, going to need to spark some offense, but one of the best guys to turn to here, it's Robbie Levy, who ended the previous inning, and now we'll turn to his bat here and see if he can spark some offense against Carson Morton, who has been steadfast thus far, allowing just a hit with 3 strikeouts and has really found his rhythm really right from the onset after hitting a batter as Levy cuts on the first pitch he sees with a big swing here. Doesn't connect, 0-1 count as the sun has started to set. Lights have come on here at Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park. Morton kicks the leg, winds, fires. The off-speed pitch lands, and Levy just watches it. 0-2 count now here. Levy quickly finding himself in a hole. Levy's first time up. Flew out to left. Levy turns on it. Sends it foul, though, down the third base line and into the bullpen.
Second time through the order, you kind of try and pick out what different stuff you'll see from this pitcher. Turks in the position of having their starter go through the order a second time, unlike the Tom Sox.
It'll be Levy, Miller, Gibson on tap for the Tom Sox as Levy gets a piece of this one to stay alive here. As Delgado will pop the mask off and toss fresh baseball back to Morton on the mound. No movement right now in the Turks pen, and for Morton, the Wingate pitcher, this is a welcome sight. 0-2 from Morton. Levy chops this over to short, but comes on cleanly, makes the play. Levy, the big fellow, though, was gunning down the base pass, and it was a little bit of an effortless play there from Butt, but Levy nearly running it out. But that'll be out number 1. No pun intended there. And now stepping up to the dish, it's Gavin Miller from Houston, who also flew out to left his last time up.
Hey, Dylan, that was a softly hit ball, and maybe with a faster runner at the plate, you got a base runner there. But unfortunately for the Tom Sox, it's the catcher running.
Miller watches the first offering from Morton here, called strike 1. Levy has certainly been delivering a little bit more with the bat than on the base pass as a runner, and he's also smoked 3 home runs where he doesn't have to run too far or too hard around the base pass.
You get to take your time around the bases on that one.
1-1 count now here after Miller sees the pitch go outside. Middle infield playing back. First and third playing a little bit more forward here. The 1-1 to Miller. Caught on and missed. And now Miller will fall behind in a 1-2 count with just the out. Miller arrived on Friday, fresh off arriving, would pinch hit in the lineup, go 1 for 2 with a home run against Culpeper. Miller nabs a piece of it and sends back in the netting behind home plate to stay alive. He's now started in 3 games. This will mark his 4th, and he's appeared in 5 games. 5 hits in 14 at-bats coming into this contest with a homer, a triple, a double, and a pair of runs driven in. The 1-2 to Miller, just a little bit inside for ball number 2.
Just trying to get him to go fishing on that same breaking pitch he got strike 2 on.
So Morton, the 2-2. Miller lines this down the first base line, but out of play and just over the Go Dukes sign, down the first base sign. This is the home of the James Madison Dukes. We've been talking in and out of the break. Is the Lone College Stadium on the circuit. Miller, that pitch from Morton, just missing. So he's worked himself back into a full count. So 3-2 and out after Levy grounded out in the first at-bat. Ethan Gibson, the Virginia Tech student, stands in the on-deck circle. The 3-2 to Miller. Low and outside. So Miller works a walk, and for a Tom Sox team that sees themselves trailing here 5-0 in the top of the 4th, a welcome sight as you get a runner on the base pass.
Yeah, it's a good start for the Tom Sox, especially trying to build some momentum after getting the Turks out 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. But I was going to mention JMU, of course, a great baseball program, NCAA tournament participants this year in the Raleigh Regional, where they fell to, of course, the mighty NC State Wolfpack.
Gibson shows bunt on the first offering. Miller was a little bit far off the bag and nearly doesn't get back in time. Canizero would apply the tag, but Miller just getting back. As Gibson was showing bunt, the pitch was outside for ball number 1. Little NC State bias in the mighty Wolfpack
Just
there?
a little bit. That big piece of paper I have in a frame on my wall
It earns
back
you the
at
right.
home kind of gives that effect.
The 1-0 to Gibson. This time lands on the outside corner of the plate for strike number 1.
That was a close play at first. If you're the Tom Sox, you cannot afford to make mistakes like that. And it was just lucky for Miller to get back in there safely.
Miller not exactly hugging the bag, though, here, still with a nice lead. Gibson cuts on this, nabs a piece of it, bounces it back behind foul towards his own dugout, and now he'll circle around here as Gibson, the best on-base percentage on the team, just narrowly beating out Cade Ballou with a .588. As I mentioned, he leads the team in walks now with 13. Usually does a good number for that on-base percentage.
It's a scary number if you're certain people, though.
1-2, 1 out. Morton takes a beat, rocks, fires. Gibson skies this one into right field. Gone is Horse trying to get there before it drops in, and diving and making the play was Murdoch.
Wow, he looks like a kid at a water park there going down a slide, and just, I don't know how on earth he held on to that ball or didn't smash himself against the fence, but defensive play of the game so far for Ethan Murdoch. I'm not sure if that ball would have landed fair or foul, but doesn't matter now. That's the second out of the inning and a big one for the Turks.
Huge out for the Turks, who lead 5-0 here. They have the runner on, and Gavin Miller do the Tom Sox as they're trying to cut into that deficit. And Ethan Gibson, that ball, thought it was going to droop down, as really having to come a long way was Murdoch. And as Luke mentioned, sliding like a kid at a water park. That was a good, very good analogy here as the first offering to Wiley cut on and missed. Wiley singled his last time up.
That's not quite officially the summer solstice, but it's summer for all intents and purposes.
Wiley, the lone hit for the Tom Sox thus far in the contest. Up at bat now in an 0-1 count with Miller on first. Wiley, big cut on the off-speed pitch. Broke just perfectly there for Morton, who now holds control of this at-bat. In the driver's seat, 0-2, 2 outs, runner on in Miller. Tom Sox had some two-out offense of their own last time out against the Turks. Trying to see if Wiley can spark a little bit of it here. The 0-2 to Wiley. Outside and drops down. It'll prompt Delgado to pop up and then throw it back over to Morton. Couple errant balloons here on the near side. Yellow one nearly about to hit the light pole, but back on the field. 1-2, 2 outs to Wiley. Way outside for ball number 2.
Guess since David's played here before, you could call him a wily veteran.
Wiley, 2-2, 2 outs. Runner on in Miller. Wiley has worked himself back into the count as that one bounces off Delgado. He's going to prompt him to pop up here. Evans did jump over to cover the bag, but Miller was just standing at bay at first base.
Had a player named Trey McDyer a few years ago, and anytime he came to the plate with runners in scoring position, it was a McDyer situation.
The jokes are coming fast
yeah.
from Luke. 3-2, 2 outs. Morton fires the payoff pitch. Skied. Foul down the first base side. Way down the first base side. And
if you could work your way on base here, if you're David Wiley, that could be a big psychological advantage for the rest of the inning. Is Turks were close to getting out of it with a pitcher's count here, 2 away, but Wiley's battled here, and if you're a Tom Sox, you really hope he can get on base.
Anything to try to rock the confidence of a Turks squad that leads 5-0 and an offense that Tom Sox were just able to put down for the first time. 1, 2, 3. 3-2, we go again. 2 outs. Wiley watches it for ball 4, and as you mentioned, this could be a big opportunity for the Sox now here with Jack McMullen, Liberty catcher, and first baseman stepping to the plate.
And looking for redemption as well.
McMullen struck out looking last time up. He'll now work with the runner on second by way of Miller, who had worked the walk. And Wiley joins him working a walk as well here. 2 runners on for the Sox. McMullen digs in, watches it for ball number 1.
Morton really leaning on that curveball this inning. Mixed results. And that one was nowhere close.
Some stretching in the Turks bullpen, but not a whole lot of movement with them leading 5-0 here. Evans was covering the bag, now pulls back. That pitch outside and low for ball number 2. McMullen quickly jumping ahead in the count.
The opposite of his last AB where he fell behind 0-2.
At this point, it's leave the bat on the shoulder and try to make Morton, who's just walked Wiley and now falling behind 2-0, make him throw a strike. The 2-0 from Morton, right down the pipe for strike number 1. On deck, it's Landon Bruce, who grounded out last time up. Made a nice play, though, in the bottom of the third. Just a side to go. The 2-1 to McMullen. Gets the outside part of the plate for strike 2, and the count now even at 2 apiece with 2 outs and 2 on. Deuces Wild here from Eagle Field.
Tom Sox still with just 1 hit, despite having 2 base runners here.
2-2 offering from Morton. McMullen smacks this one into center field, but just taking a couple steps back and reeling it in is Pascal for out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left on for the Sox. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Stick and stay on Tom Sox TV. Back at you on Tom Sox TV here in Harrisonburg at Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park, also on the grounds of James Madison University. Dylan Price alongside Luke Nadkarni. Luke, it has been all Turks thus far. Tom Sox showing some life there, though, in the top of the frame, getting 2 runners on, and previously had retired the side 1-2-3. So maybe some momentum swinging in Charlottesville's way after the Turks bested the Tom Sox on their turf on Sunday. See if the Tom Sox can keep the Turks offense that has had their number at bay.
And Chase Stryker's done a good job coming in, settling things down a little bit. There's a little bit of stirring out in our bullpen now. We'll keep an eye on that, but for now it's the Chase Stryker show on the mound.
Wehringer set to dig in, singled and drove in a run, and a really nice piece of hitting his last time up. That was part of the 4-run bottom of the first for the home team as Wehringer watches it inside for ball number 1.
We're wearing number 13. There was another famous third baseman that wore 13, I believe.
That one inside, just nearly skimming the jersey of Wehringer. Gonna allude to it, or?
Oh, I was setting you up.
We played for the New York Yankees.
Of course.
Alex Rodriguez. A lot of controversy recently on whether or not his number will be retired. At the 2-0 count, Wehringer watches the off-speed pitch. Cut the plate for strike 1. They were part of the Fox pregame show. Big Poppy, Derek Jeter, Kevin Burkhardt, and of course, Alex Rodriguez. Quite the crew Fox has assembled as Wehringer skies this into center field. Lopez will walk back just a little bit and reel it in for out number 1. So what's your take on it? You putting Rodriguez's jersey in Monument Park. He did help lead the team to 2009 World Series. David Argo is somewhere cringing right now at the Yankees talk on the broadcast, but
yeah,
I got to ask.
I mean, I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan, so I'm going to keep this to a minimum myself, but I think he belongs there. I'm going to say he belongs there.
I tend to agree with you. Last Yankee to wear 13, Joey Gallo. As that cuts the plate for strike 1.
That fly ball to center, by the way, was pretty much the same play as McMullen in the last inning, so a little bit of mirroring here in these last couple.
The 0-1 from Stryker. Big cut misses from Spencer Butt. So he nabbed a piece of it, and Butt actually grabbed the back there as he took a big swipe at that pitch. But now an 0-2 count. The Chanticleer in Stryker in the driver's seat. The 0-2 just misses. Going to prompt Levy to pop up and Had a backhand glove it actually there. And now at a 1-2 count and an out. Tom Sox. 1-2-3 the last time they faced the Turks order. Trying to replicate that here and get some length out of Striker. Swing and a miss, but didn't just fully miss it. Nabbed a piece of it. So Butt will stay alive just by a hair in the at-bat.
Probably a good thing that was a foul tip because it got so far away from the catcher that it was probably going to be an advancement to first.
So the Seminole stays alive. 1-2, 1 out. Striker rocks, fires. Outside, 4-2. Mentioned Striker appeared last Thursday. It was in relief, of Trobaugh. Seeing a little bit more length out of him here as Butt smacks this foul down the third base side coming to this one. Striker pitched an inning and 2/3 last time out. So
Looks like there's a little bit of activity going on in the Turks bullpen as well, but the signage is blocking me from seeing who it is.
if I'm not mistaken, I do believe it is a kid. Is that one cut on and missed this time around?
Oh, yeah, good point.
But not going to stay alive. Down, strike 3, and now 2 outs here. Striker trying to retire the side again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I believe that is a kid.
Yeah,
throwing
that's definitely just a kid throwing the ball around.
Considering we couldn't really see him through that gap of the fence, and his head wasn't certainly poking over.
And how well Morton's been pitching as well. I mean, why would you take him out?
Would be interesting, though, if the kid came in. This smacked into left field for a base hit as top of the order, and Pascal comes on and laces a base hit, his second of the contest. And now some 2-out offense possibly brewing for the Turks.
Pascal came around to score after hitting a double his last at-bat. And now you've got the guys on the Turks who have done the damage today, and it's a guy they've struggled to put out today in Cam Nelson.
Nelson did not see him on Sunday. The last time these two teams squared off, it was actually only his 3rd game he's played on the season, albeit a very young season, just the 9th game from both sides. First offering to Nelson. Here from Striker. Second time around seeing Striker outside. So it's kind of like when you see the starter second time around, as there actually is now some movement in the Turks bullpen that is not a small child.
I thought so. Looks like a sidewinder, too. Little
Striker
left-handed
throws over.
sidewinder.
I actually believe that's Hudson Lee, who we saw on Sunday, who has a bit of a sidewind motion from Wake Forest. If I'm not mistaken, as Striker checked on the runner at first in Pascal once, and now check on him again.
You've got to keep the deficit at 5 here if you're the Tom Sox. I mean, you can't get too much further behind getting toward the midway point of this ballgame.
Have to try to keep it in striking distance. The 1-0. Nelson lines this into the Turks dugout. Hopefully everyone is all good as that ball rocketed.
I don't know. I mean, you've got a screen there. I don't know how effective it was on that one. You might be hearing about that one from his teammates a little bit later.
Like, come on, dude. Hit it any other part of the ballpark, just not here. The 1-1 from Striker will Mullen, and now set to face Nelson, the Wake Forest product. Walked and scored a run in his first time up. Runner going. Levy, the throw, just getting him. Wynn applies the tag, and Pascal thrown out. Levy nabs another runner, and that'll put to bed the inning for the Turks. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the top of the 5th. Hang with us on Tom Sox TV. Rejoining you on Tom Sox TV, Dylan Price, Luke Ned Carney. Welcome you back in for all the action. Sox trail 5-0 here as we enter the 5th. Thanks for hanging with us on this beautiful Wednesday evening. If you couldn't made it out to the action here at Harrisonburg Field, well, catch some more Tom Sox action this weekend on the docket. And if you do make it out to Harrisonburg, well, you'll be treated to a hot dog, a burger, another hot dog, and fries racing in between innings here as Joe Valcar, one of the pitchers on the staff, the lefty from Wake Forest, was donning the hot dog costume and lost to the kids. First offering to Bruce here, foul back.
I was going to say, let's clarify, these were people in costumes, not actual food items running.
Yes, it's Joe Valcar was not going against an actual burger and fries. It would actually be a little bit more scary if he did lose, but regardless, Bruce digs in. San Jacinto product sees a second strike here. As continuing on is Carson Morton, although there is action in the pen, and Hudson Lee. Saw Hudson Lee last time. These two teams squared off on Sunday. Bruce stays alive here with the high strike or high ball.
A lot of these pitching plans are kind of predetermined coming into these games.
The 1-2 to Bruce inside, 4-2, and Bruce has fought back and even the count at 2 apiece. And Hudson Lee was really strong in relief on Sunday. See what he does here is Bruce has now battled all the way back to a full count and working quickly.
A few years ago under manager Corey Hunt, the Tom Sox actually kind of used to more or less announce the first 2 pitchers they would be using each game.
Full count offering here from Morton. Bruce works a walk, battles back from an 0-2 haul to nab a base, and this is a welcome sight as now you go to the top of the order for the Sox, and you have a runner on and no outs, and this may spell the end of the night for Morton as Lee continues to warm, and there's the call to the pen. Hudson Lee will come in relief of Carson Morton, and Carson Morton allowing no runs and a hit. We'll see if the run in Bruce eventually comes around, but Tom Sox weren't able to tag him. We'll see if they can change the tides a little bit here against Hudson Lee. We'll rejoin you in just a moment and give Lee a chance to warm up. Hang with us on Tom Sox TV. Hudson Lee will now come on to pitch, and that means Carson Morton's night is done. Get you a clothesline on him when we head to the bottom of the frame as the runner on still in Landon Bruce is inherited to him as Hudson Lee coming on for the Sox here. He's appeared in, or not for the Sox, against the Sox here for the Turks. Sometimes it's hard. Both teams start with T. I digress. 4 2/3 for Hudson thus far on the season. 3 earned, 2 hits, 4 walks, and 6 fanned. He's got a 1-1 record as well. Accounts to a 5.78 ERA. I'll do that for you so that you don't have to take the calculator out at home, although it gets done for me here on Point Streak.
I was told there would be no math. That's like a condition of me doing these broadcasts.
We tried to do some math on Sunday. Shout out to Mike Bolger, who joined me on the call, and just tried to simply close a line for a guy and count walks and strikeouts, and that was even too much. As I see, I'm glad to see you're in agreement with me on that one.
Now let's get back to baseball.
Landon Bruce will be on first base as Hudson Lee is in here, and Ryan Wynn, who grounded out and was hit by a pitch in 2 appearances thus far to the dish. It's back to the top of the order as Lee will throw over to first, and just get one more throw in there with Jake Canizero before he settles in here and heads up against Ryan Wynn. Wynn joined the Sox this past weekend as Bruce showed like he was going to take off there for just a moment, but teasing Delgado is the first pitch to Wynn. And first pitch from Lee is called ball one.
Wynn out of Wofford, who, as we mentioned, a postseason participant in the NCAA tournament. A couple of Wofford guys, including veteran David Wiley.
Another throw over to Bruce. Just check it in.
No limits here like there are in the majors, so you could see up to 5, 6 pickoff throws in a row if the pitcher so desires, or more.
Saw 3 and 1 at bat there from Stryker the previous inning. Second offering to Win outside for ball number 2.
What's your opinion on that in Major League Baseball?
I like having a limit because some guys will kind of use it and abuse it a little bit. We saw 9 throws over in about an inning and a half after this past week as Bruce is going to take off here. The throw down from Delgado, not in time. It's going to bounce off the glove of Evans, and now here goes Bruce. Bruce sliding into third, and Bruce goes from first to third, swipes a bag, and then after it bounces off of Evans' glove, is going to head all the way to third now, 90 feet from home for Win, and Tom Sox knocking on the door, possibly getting their first run of the contest.
First error of the ball game for either team. That goes against Harrisonburg. I think that's going to be charged to the catcher, Delgado.
Throw was off the line. Evans did try to corral it in a little bit there as the error does come through. As now the pitch inside to Win, and now you're really in a nice spot here. Driver's seat in the at-bat if you're Win. Could get runners on the corners here and tee up Tommy Roldan, who's been a dangerous bat for this lineup. Big cut from Win, and Win's going to lose the bat. As Win looks at his gloves wondering, I guess I need some more sticky stuff to try to keep that one in, and they'll retrieve the bat for him here, and Coach Tomlin will bring it back to him, but a little bit of a scary sight.
I mean, that almost took Coach Tomlin's head off. We might have been looking for a new head coach. But I don't know if you play MLB The Show 24, but they have that in the game this year. You can actually lose the bat on a swing.
Willingly?
No, but like it just happens occasionally with the AI. It's just.
I was going to say, I'm not going to choose to lose it, but.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Strikeout and lose bat. Okay. Anyways, full count coming here. Wynn's got his bat back, and he chops this over to first. The run will score, but Canizero will tag the bag. So the run comes around. It's the first for the Sox. They still trail 5-1 here in the top of the 5th, but now finally breaking through. We'll see if the floodgates open as Tommy Roldan, the UVA do-it-all Swiss Army knife, steps to the dish.
I think both teams will take that there. Tom Sox get on the board for the first time, and the Turks record the first out and still have a 4-run lead, and now the bases are empty.
It'll be Roldan and then Lopez in the on-deck circle, and getting to some of the really strong bats in this Sox order that doesn't have a lot of weak ones. It is a team that can really, really hit the ball, but tonight just a single hit and a run scored as Delgado are going to go out and have a chat with Lee here and maybe go over some notes with him and say, okay, this Roldan guy, he can kind of hit the ball well, so maybe we pitch a little bit off of him. I don't know what they're saying out there. Be nice if we could mic him up, though.
It'll be his first time facing a left-handed pitcher tonight, so a little bit of a different look for Roldan after 2 at-bats against the right-hander Morton.
Similar situation to what we saw as a couple of the guys in Spencer Butt particularly was thrown off his original game plan with Stryker coming in after Troball had worked through 8 of the first batters in the first inning, but only going 2/3 before his night would end. Now it's Hudson Lee on the bump for the Turks as Roldan smacks the first pitch he sees foul into the netting just on the top of the Turks' home dugout. As Luke mentioned earlier, Bridgewater All-Stars here in attendance. They're dancing around, having some fun here in the crowd as Roldan sky high, moonshot, going to make sure he doesn't lose it in the lights. As Katz here who has to come on and really chase it towards the tail end there as it was streaking off, nearly dropped down, but Katz, who has been locked down in left field tonight, reels it in for out number 2.
We hadn't seen that guy in a few innings, Chris Katz. He had a bunch of putouts and a couple hits, but reminding us of his presence out there in left field, calling off those other couple guys.
I wanted to make sure he was still out there. I haven't called his name in a little bit. Regardless, Johnny Lopez digs in, and a 3-run homer last night as a part of the 10-6 victory for the Sox. First pitch outside to him, 1-0 count. Also had a sac fly, so all in all, Lopez accounting for 4 runs driven in last night's win for the Sox as Lee misses almost rinse and repeat the exact same pitch outside again. Lopez coming by way of Seminole State.
Wonder what state that's in.
Be a little clued in. Next pitch to Lopez. Once again, doesn't make the mark that Lee wanted it for. 3-0 count. 2 down, and Tom Sox knocking the door of getting another base runner on here in an inning they've already seen 1 run come across as Lopez on 4 pitches will take a little trot over to first, and this tees up Robbie Levy, the big bat, in the lineup. Coming up here after flying out and grounding out thus far.
And Levy, probably the Tom Sox MVP of this game thus far. Not for anything he's done at the plate, but he's caught 2 Harrisonburg runners trying to steal second base, and if not for him, this score could look a little bit worse than 5-1 right now.
First offering to Levy. Sky-high foul, tracking towards the Turks' pen, and one of the pitchers actually going to give chase to it, but obviously he's not in the field of play, and that won't count. Have to tip of the cap here while he's on the field here to Brett Waringer for what he did the other day. Waringer, the Georgetown third baseman, tracked a fly ball down. He ran it out at Willie T. Barnett Field, actually hurdled the fence to try to reel it in. Obviously, it was not going to count there as Levy sees the next pitch inside for ball 1, but was tracking it and decided he had so much forward momentum, he just completely hurdled the fence.
I think if I tried to do that, I'd end up in the hospital.
I probably would be in the same boat with you. The 1-1 with the runner on here in Lopez. Big swing from Levy. Won't connect. Nice pitch there from Lee.
Change up. I wonder. No radar gun here, but ain't no way that touched 70 miles an hour.
Catches Levy off kilter. 1-2. 2 outs. 1 on. Lopez going. And he's going to swipe that bag with ease. Delgado throws it, but Buttle just reel it in. No further damage this time. No error on that one. And Lopez steals a bag, and now runner in scoring position here for Levy, who finds himself in a 2-2 count now with 2 down. And the runner on second. Lee looks for the sign from Delgado. Sets. Sidewinder. Checks its second, and now fires, and just outside. And a little low. So Levy has worked this now back to a full count. Lee readies, checks at Lopez, kicks the leg, fires, swing and a miss, strike 3. Ends the frame. 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base for the Sox. They break through, they get their first run, but still trail 5-1. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Keep with us here on Tom Sox TV. We rejoin you on Tom Sox TV. Dylan Price here with Luke Nad-Carney as we enter you into the bottom of the fifth, and we have a pitching change as Chase Striker's night has concluded. Aiden Alexander will toe the rubber here in the first offering. A big swing at the dish from Cam Nelson. Nelson will resume his at-bat after Levy would nab Pascal, caught stealing to end the previous frame. Second pitch to Nelson here in the dirt will bounce back behind home plate for ball number 1. So Striker's night done. Did a really solid job coming in relief of Trobaugh, going 3 1/3. Pair of strikeouts, a run allowed on 2 hits for Striker. Now coming in, Aiden Alexander. Get you some info on him in just a moment here as the next pitch to Nelson outside for ball number 2. Aiden Alexander, a George Washington pitcher as well. Another lefty. So we go lefty, righty, lefty for the Sox, if you're tracking at home. 2-1 count here. The pitch to the DH in Nelson. Skied back, foul into the netting. And Chris Katz will just reel it in there as Alexander, the lefty from George Washington, pitching to his fellow lefty teammate in Levy. Alexander, 3 1/3, 2 hits, 1 strikeout, a double in 2 appearances thus far. Hasn't allowed a single run, though, thus far. 2-2, no outs. The pitch coming to Nelson. Alexander takes a deep breath, kicks the leg, and fires that one in. It's going to get a piece of Nelson, and a little bit more than a piece. Nelson's going to trot on over to first, and Turks going to have a runner on here with no outs in the bottom of the fifth. In a game they lead 5-1 after the Tom Sox would get their first run across the plate in the top of the frame. But now Katz, who has been rock solid defensively and at the dish tonight, steps in with a runner on and no outs for Harrisonburg.
That one hit Cam right between the 3 and the 0 on his back. So that is not very much fun.
Nelson now at first. Tightly to the bag right now as Alexander, that pitch way outside, and he'll look to settle back in here now after getting ahead in that at-bat against Nelson, but plunked him, but seeking to dial back in. The 1-0 to Katz. Inside part of the plate and nabs it for strike 1. Count now even at 1 apiece. For those of you tuned into us and not Celtics Mavericks right now, 32-31 the score in the second.
Who would be watching that game over ours?
2 tightly contested games. Sox making it 1 here as Katz chases that one for strike number 2.
Of course, the Celtics making easy work of these first 2 games, but now the series shifts to Dallas, and it's a different environment.
Luka Doncic has been on point, on fire thus far. He'd be honestly in contention to win the MVP without even winning the series right now. As Alexander, the 1-2 to Katz, outside for ball 2. The only player to ever win an MVP without winning the series, unfortunately passed today, Jerry West. The logo, an incredible executive, now will be a 3-time Naismith Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer as a player, as he won a ring and 9 appearances to the finals, a all-time executive, and also going to get in the Naismith Hall of Fame as a contributor. So sending our best to the West family. The 2-2 to Katz. Outside, just missing for ball 3. Full count incoming.
And right on the heels of Bill Walton as well. Just a tough couple weeks if you're a basketball fan.
Bill Walton, also legend on the court, and just like West, legacy off the court as well, as a phenomenal broadcaster. As Katz works himself back into the at-bat and works a walk as well. And now runners will be on first and second, and Turks threatening right now to do some more damage with a 5-1 advantage in the bottom of the fifth.
Tom Sox definitely grabbed a little bit of momentum in the fourth and the fifth after setting the Turks down in order in the third. This is danger now because you might be giving it back after the first 2 runners get on base with free passes off a hit and a walk. And then look who's at the plate now. Cleanup man Canizero, and mistake here, and it's an 8-1 ball game.
Jack Canizero set to step to the plate. Set My World on Fire. Very good walk-up song. Not one I've heard before as a walk-up song. More of a love song choice, but hey, it's got a rock vibe to it. I can get hyped to it. Love some of the walk-up songs throughout the league.
I mean, it's an essential part of the Valley League experience, the baseball experience, really.
Of course. Unwritten's the best one I've heard tonight. I tip the cap to the Turks for that one. My favorite on the roster for us, I'd have to say, for the Sox, has got to be Hot and Cold, Robbie Levy, Katy Perry.
Big Katy Perry fan here.
Canizero lays the bunt down. Alexander just going to toss this over to first and get the force out there as the runner will advance to third in Nelson and Katz to second, but pushing them both a little bit closer to scoring with Evans at the plate. That's a pretty solid bunt.
Definitely, it gets two men into scoring position. While we're on the topic of walk-up songs, there's always at least one, or actually I should say there's always one Tom Sox player every year who gets the I can make your hands clap, and it's usually one of the best players on the team. It's been kind of an unofficial tradition, so I don't know if anyone's earned that yet this year.
Still got a couple guys set to come. We'll let them pick their walk-up songs organically, but as of right now, I don't believe anybody holds claim to that song, as the first offering to Evans from Alexander is low for ball one.
And Tom Sox have brought the infield in here, trailing by 4. He can't afford to give up any more runs here.
Try to keep this game tight here in the bottom of the fifth with an out, trailing 5-1. Alexander, as Evans skies this into center field. Lopez will reel it in now. The throw, it's just going to come into third. Well, short as Wynn cuts it off on its way there, and the run will score easily as Nelson, who was hit by a pitch, will come all the way around, and now the Turks lead 6-1 here in the bottom of the fifth.
And no chance there to get the runner on the tag up. Good job getting it into short to win, to prevent advancement from second to third. Now the scoreboard looks like a tennis match. It's 6-1 in runs for Harrisonburg and also 6-1 in hits as well.
Trying to win the match still. It's in striking distance for the Sox, but going to need Alexander to end the frame. 2 outs as the man, I'd say, with the best walk-up song, Matt Delgado at the dish. Delgado is a sac fly for an RBI and struck out looking his previous time up.
Now, I'm a big Swiftie. Do we have any Taylor Swift walk-up songs? I need to know.
I'm not 100% sure because our in-house stadium DJ right now, David Argo, loves to play a little bit of Taylor Swift.
He better.
On routine. I'm joining you, fan of Swift, as Delgado, big cut, doesn't connect. Quickly now falls into an 0-2 count. But I don't believe any of the guys have landed on Swift for their walk-up song. They did ask last night in a overrated, underrated on-field segment, and both Brett Gassman, I believe, and Trevor Booten, who might have joined him for it, saying she's overrated. The 0-2 to Delgado chops this just foul down the first base side. It was going to slip past McMullen, and it did into the outfield, but it does go foul. Otherwise, that could have spelled extra bases and a little bit more danger for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, that definitely could have been 3 bases if it was just about 3 feet to the left of the bag. But those aforementioned couple of people. Good thing I wasn't at that game because there would have been issues.
Big Swiftie, wow. I'm a fan. I wasn't ready to again do a big fight over it. The guys are allowed to have their opinion, as that won't give much of Delgado an opinion. Alexander ends the frame and works out of a bit of a jam here. 1 run scored for the Turks. Tom Sox trail 6-1. They're going to try to cut into that deficit. Stick and stay with us as we enter into the top of the 6th on Tom Sox TV. Top of the sixth, Sox trail 6-1. They'll look to cut into the deficit as they turn to Gavin Miller. The Houston infielder has played some third base and first base for the Sox thus far since arriving last Friday. Almost a week spent in Seaville for him and in Virginia for the VBL play. As in VBL play, just two teams have defeated as the first pitch to Miller way inside and will bounce off the backstop behind home plate for ball number one. Just two teams have defeated the Tom Sox thus far as they came into the contest with a 6-2 record. One of those teams, the Harrisonburg Turks, who bested them on Sunday. They lead 6-1 right now as Miller, the 1-0, just off the end of the bat, foul for strike one. Turks winning 12-8 on Sunday. Now back in action here against the Sox again, this time on their home turf, leading 6-1. Tom Sox stand atop the South Division in the VBL right now. As the 1-1 to Miller. Off-speed pitch from Hudson Lee, who remains on here in relief of Carson Morton. Lands nearly perfectly for a called strike two. It's a division that Tom Sox have jumped out to a lead after a 5-game win streak last week. And the pitch outside here, now the count even. They hold a 1.5-game advantage over the Waynesboro Generals, who have a 5-4 record entering today's play. 4-4 record for the Turks, who are 2 games back, as check swing from Miller here. He did not go, and ball outside, so Miller's work back. It's a full count. 4-4 record for the Turks, 2 games back, 2.5 games back for the Stanton Braves. It's 4-5 for them, and Covington 3-4. As Miller swing and a miss, strike 3. Lee gets him down. That'll be out number 1 for the Sox. Covington 3-4, 2.5 games back. Culpepper 2-5, 3.5 games back. There we go in the South Division. And just checking in the North Division, Percival leads with a 8-1 record, 2 games up on Newmarket, who are 6-3, 5-5 for Woodstock and Strasburg, 3-7 for Winchester, and Front Royal 2-8 right now. As Hudson Lee sends the first offering in to Ethan Gibson, called strike number 1.
On that 3-2 pitch, great job there by Lee to just come right after Miller, throw one right in the strike zone, make him hit it. Miller couldn't do it.
The 0-1 to Gibson, chased after it, strike 2. So now Hudson Lee, who just fanned Gavin Miller in an 0-2 driver's seat against Gibson here, as he tries to make quick work of the Sox, who, as mentioned, trail by 5, 6-1 here in the top of the 6th. Just one hit for the Sox thus far. Gibson trying to break through. Checked, held back, and it was low. So ball 1. Gibson, the best on-base percentage on the team, already has a walk today. Leads the team in walks with 13 of them. He's got a good eye. He's disciplined with the bat, and he watches that sail high for ball 2.
Wind's starting to kick up a little bit. Old Glory's blowing out to the left there down the right field line. One of these righties gets it up in the wind there.
2-2 and out. Another pitch inside this time around. We go outside, then we go inside. And for Gibson, he goes to a 3-2 count and an out here. Hudson Lee going to try to shake it off. And he retired Miller in a full count a batter ago. See what he does here against Gibson. The 3-2. Gibson nabs a piece of it to stay alive. So we'll rinse and repeat and go again. Gibson's ready. Lee's ready. Delgado, presume he's ready. The 3-2. Gibson chops this just over to Lee. Gibson going to try to run it out. He won't. Play over at first. Lee, it fell right in between Lee and Delgado. Lee would get over there and throw it to Canizaro for out number 2. So Miller and Gibson retired back-to-back. It'll tee up David Wiley, who has just a lone hit for the Tom Sox in this one. See what he can do here and try to get a runner on and maybe trickle into this deficit a little bit.
Tom Sox just struggling to get base runners in this ball game, and when they do get them, struggling to get them around.
First pitch to Wiley. Off speed. Wiley tried to time it up, but he'll hold back. Still lands for strike 1. So 0-1 count. 2 down. Lee kicks a leg. Fires. Wiley watches it again. Once again, tried to time it up. This time came closer to coming around, but still holds back. It's an 0-2, 2 down. So Hudson Lee has found his rhythm here in relief of Carson Morton. The 0-2, 2 down. Check swing. Home plate umpire will say he went. Wiley goes down. Lee fans 2 in a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Turks lead 6-1. Stick and stay on Tom Sox TV. Margaritaville, blaring through Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park. I think it's like the third time tonight this has played through here as the vibes are high, especially for the Harrisonburg Turks fan base as they lead 6-1 as we enter the bottom of the sixth. Hey, I'm never going to complain about some Jimmy Buffett playing on repeat here. Dylan Price, Luke Nadcardi, welcome me back in.
I mean, did I say I was a Swiftie? I'm also a Parrot head, man. This just gets better and better.
This is a dream night for Luke here at the ballpark. Not exactly for the Sox, though, as they try to keep this Turks offense at bay and turn the bats back over in the seventh as Alexander lands strike number one. Got to try to get a 1-2-3 inning here and then now try to get some runners out in the next for the Sox as they continue on against Hudson Lee. On the other side of things is Alexander, a fellow lefty.
Of course, pour one out for Buffett as well. Sorry, Dylan, but just talking about guys who passed recently. Jimmy Buffett, Labor Day weekend of last year.
Yeah. Remember, it was a sad day. Penn State played West Virginia that day. They did win the game, but the news came in right around then as this blooped right down the third base line, just foul, heading towards the Turks' pen, and Ryan Wynn eventually coming from short to corral it in and throw it back into the dugout. So it'll be a 1-2 count here against the big-time hitter for the Turks. That'll be Ethan Murdoch. Also saw him make a crazy play. Still to play the game, I'd say it's safe to say, on the fielding side of things out there in right field for Harrisonburg. The 1-2 to Murdoch. Cut on and missed. Alexander gets him to bite for a strikeout. Number 2, I believe, on the day for him. And out number 1 here in the bottom of the sixth.
I'll ask you this, Dylan, as a diehard Penn State guy and student and all the changes going on in the TV landscape. How do you feel about all these noon kickoffs that the Big Ten is going to get?
Oh, I should have known this question was coming. Oof. All right, it's a tough question.
You can take a second if you need it.
Waringer digs in here against Alexander. First pitch to him outside. It's two sides of the coin. I do think it's a great move from a media side of things for Fox. The noon market was not exactly tapped into. They've done a great job with it, and it's clearly worked for ratings. A lot of people loving that noon kick as Waringer watches a called strike one. Count now even at 1 apiece here with just an out. But on the other side of things, as a fan, it has to some extent threatened to possibly ruin the whiteout again for another year, as it was likely should have been Ohio State 2 years ago. As the next pitch here, 1-1. Make it a 1-2 as Waringer fouls this towards the Sox dugout. But it should have probably been Michigan last year as well. They named it a Iowa whiteout, which I was okay with because Iowa was in the top 25 at the time and played for the Big Ten title. But this year, still very up in the air, and Ohio State, the game rights held currently by Fox. All indications it likely could be a big noon again. So it's kind of to some extent threatened to ruin the whiteout as Alexander puts a damper on Waringer's night. Strikeout number 2 in this frame. He's retired back-to-back by way of a K, and it's 2 outs here for the Sox.
Now, on the other side of the coin, I work for Georgia in their football broadcast, and the SEC is going to have a lot more night kickoffs on prime time.
Which I'm a fan of. I love some good SEC football as well, but you like to see some Big Ten in prime time. You like to mix it up as a whole, and with Fox holding the rights, it's a lot of the best games now at noon. It's great because you got great football all day long, and got to love it as a college football fan as a whole. Is next pitch here swinging strike, as we'll have a pinch hitter, Spencer Butt. His day has come to an end as Jack Torbett from Walters State Community College will come in. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the story. It's a tough situation. Love it as a fan of college football as a whole. Not as ton as a Big Ten fan. Foul back, sky high. Hope everybody's cars are safe as that was heading towards the parking lot. But it'll be a 2-2, 2 outs as Alexander trying to strike out the entire side and send this back to the Sox bats in the top of the 7th. Alexander's ready. Walters ready. The 2-2 with 2 down. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1, 2, 3, all by way of strikeout. Aiden Alexander retires the side with a bunch of Ks to end the frame. Sox trail 6-1. Looking to see those bats sparkle live as we head to the top of the 7th on Top Sox TV. We rejoin you on Tom Sox TV. Turks lead 6-1. Tom Sox coming to bat here in the top of the 7th, handing the reins away to Luke Nadkarni for the rest of the way. Luke, take it away.
Once again, thank you, Dylan. And we've harped on this most of the night as the Tom Sox trail by 5. The DJ tonight at Eagle Park here in Harrisonburg, just killing it. And we've had, we've had a few different, Jimmy Buffett, Natasha Bedingfield, but here the Doobie Brothers, as you hand it back to me for the play-by-play. That is another great band that I really like, and great, maybe gives the Tom Sox some momentum here as Jack McMullen digs in to start the top of the 7th inning against Hudson Lee, who has come in and looked very good for the Turks.
He's been right on the money, and no warming, and why would you, in the Turks pen? Football being tossed around, though.
Umpire just signaled up to the booth. He made the time signal, I think we actually had a time violation called on Hudson Lee. I'm not sure. The scoreboard hasn't changed to a ball yet, but the first actual pitch is swung on and missed by Jack McMullen, who flied out to center his first time at the plate.
Maybe he was echoing our sentiment. He likes the DJ as well.
A lot of Doobie Brothers fans here in the house in Harrisonburg. As the count now 2-1, 2-1 now as that pitch low, so our umpire definitively flashing up the count, as we did have a pitch clock violation against Hudson Lee to start the AB, and Lee now bends in a curveball for a strike. It's 2-2 with the bases empty. Lee wearing number 24 for the red-clad Harrisonburg Turks, rocks, fires, and it's a swing and a miss, strike 3 on McMullen as he goes down on a pitch that was out of the strike zone, and there's one away here for the Tom Sox in the top of the 7th.
It's a tough one here. You want to try to see this offense answer back because Aiden Alexander and Chase Stryker have taken the call and taken the ball from Hudson Troball and done a terrific job. But now the offense needs to kind of wake up and spark here, and Hudson Lee's just had their number.
First pitch from Lee to Landon Bruce is called a strike. Bruce had a nice defensive play in the 4th inning at second base. Off-speed pitch now comes in at Bruce's shoe tops, and he can't lay off. He went too far around. No appeal necessary, and it's 0-2. Lee now working quickly in a bit of a rhythm. Bases empty, 1 out. Upstairs, 1-2 to Landon Bruce, the second baseman.
Bruce accounting for the lone Tom Sox run in the contest after working a walk, stealing a base, and then coming around to score.
The kick, the delivery. That one misses just downstairs, and the count is even now at 2-2.
Ryan Wynn in the on-deck circle will be his 4th at-bat.
2-2, up and away. Count runs full now. Good job here by Landon Bruce to battle back. From the windup, base is empty. 3-2 pitch, spoiled and fouled way out of play behind us. As Kurt Dudley, the PA announcer here in Harrisonburg, announces to the crowd that you can return the foul balls for a free ice pop from the concession stand. Dudley, also the voice of the James Madison Dukes. The 3-2 pitch now from Lee is hit sharply to short. One hop on the ground, gobbled up 6-3. Nice play there by Spencer Butt, who's been a vacuum out there at the shortstop position, over to Canizaro for out number 2.
Really nice play there, and now the Turks in the driver's seat here. They'll go up against Wynn, who's had a quiet day at the office today. He was hit by a pitch in the first and has grounded out in both his previous appearances up to this point, and with 2 outs here, you'd love him to get on base, especially as one of your 2 fastest guys alongside Ethan Gibson, but it's been hard to buy a base runner for the Sox tonight.
Another left-hander up in the bullpen for the Turks, just soft-tossing right now. Tom Sox also have some guys stirring around as the first pitch comes in over the inner half for strike 1 to Ryan Wynn. But I think if you're Hudson Lee, you don't even want to come out.
I think he's the guy throwing back and forth with the football as well.
The 0-1 is sprayed foul down the right side. It's 0-2.
He's got a nice arm on him, but the catcher, I got to give kudos to him. Or maybe it's just another pitcher out there. He's got a cannon.
0-2, 2 away, base is empty. Lee looking for a 1-2-3 inning, and he gets it on a swing and a miss, strike 3. Wynn goes down, and the Tom Sox running out of outs here as it's getting late here in the Valley. 7th inning stretch here at Eagle Field, 6-1 in favor of the Harrisonburg Turks. Come on back. We'll be back on Tom Sox TV. We are back in Harrisonburg, bottom of the 7th inning. The homestanding Turks with a 6-1 lead over your Tom Sox. As the Tom Sox will put their 4th pitcher of the game on the mound. It's Landon Abrahamson, a 6'2", 215-pound right-hander out of Patrick Henry Community College, a rising junior and a native of Charlottesville, Virginia. Tom Sox just 1 hit on the evening, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. Turks with a 4 spot in the 1st inning took control of this ball game, and they lead it 6-1 on 6 hits. 1 error, but it hasn't hurt Harrisonburg, as Landon Abrahamson continues to take his warm-up pitches. I think he's on pitch 5 or 6 now, as they'll get the extra warm-ups for the new pitcher. But Tom Sox struggling in this ball game, and due up for the Turks in the first in the bottom half of the frame is Anthony Pascal, who has been a bit of a thorn in the side for the Tom Sox. He's got a double, a single, and a run scored. He has been caught stealing as well, as the throw goes down to second base. And Pascal will dig in for the Harrisonburg Turks.
Leading off, center fielder Anthony Pascal.
Out of Rider University, native of Northfield, Ohio. And he's been in center field tonight for the Turks. Abramson goes from the stretch, even with nobody on base, and misfires on the first pitch. It's 1-0. Turks up 6-1, leading off here in the bottom of the 7th is their leadoff man, Pascal, and he takes the ball 2-0. The Tom Sox going back to a righty. They keep the pattern up. Lefty, righty, lefty, righty. Hitters count now to Pascal. The 2-0 to number 20. Misses upstairs.
Still trying to keep the Turks off kilter. It's Abramson, who's pitched in an inning in just 1 appearance thus far, as a strikeout and a walk. So, second time on the season that Tom Sox fans will see Abramson.
He's behind here to the leadoff man. This is not a guy you'd like to put on base yet again, but it just happened as ball 4 comes in high and away. And now the heavy hitters of the Turks coming up to the plate with a 5-run lead here. Maybe you're thinking blood in the water a little bit if you're Bob Weiss's team. 5 runs ends this ball game here in the 7th, and we've seen them put up 4 in the 1st. So Cam Nelson comes to the plate. He's also been trouble. Tough to get out for the Tom Sox as well.
They're more than capable of exploding on the offensive end of things. On Sunday, we did see them lay, 4, 3, all of that up in a frame. Even actually a crooked number of, 4 actually was the most crooked number.
First pitch misses for a ball. Runner on first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Turks by 5. Pascal takes off. Pitch is called a strike. Levy not going to catch him twice as the throw bounces in front of the shortstop, Ryan Wynn. Doesn't get far enough away for any more advancement, but chalk up a stolen base for Anthony Pascal. And the Turks now playing aggressive here in the late innings, have a runner in scoring position as the count is 1-1 after the called strike.
Well, as you mentioned, Bob Weiss's team, they may see blood in the water. This could be an opportunity to end the night early for him, turn the lights off, save some electricity for James Madison. And at the end of the day, it's still a long ways to go to get that 5, but getting a runner in scoring position is a nice start for him.
Cam Nelson faces Abramson on a righty on lefty matchup. That pitch just catches the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Abramson doesn't want to hear it, though. He wants JMU's electric bill up a little bit more. He's trying to fight here, and he's got a good opportunity to do so.
From the stretch, the look back to second, the kick, the delivery, called third strike as the ump bangs the hammer there. And that's the first out for the Tom Sox here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
That's a big strikeout for Abramson coming in here. Now you get your first out, and it's hard to settle in, especially against a guy like Katz, who's already got a hit tonight. He's driven in a run, has done a pretty good job, and know what he did on Sunday. We've talked about it already, and what he can do defensively, but settles you down a little bit, getting Nelson out there on strikes.
And Tom Sox 6 outs remaining. A 5-run deficit with 6 outs remaining when they get back to the plate. Time called, and it is a balk called against Landon Abramson. That's going to send the runner Pascal down to second base, or excuse me, from second base down to third base. So now 90 feet away from scoring is the Turks leadoff man, as Abramson gets the explanation from the umpire as to what he did incorrectly there. I think he maybe stepped on the rubber without the ball. I did not see what happened there. I just saw the balk called. My apologies.
He was arguing it as well.
Yeah, as the 0-0 pitch misses upstairs.
Just talking to third base umpire here, who then actually ran over to watch his footing. He was jawing at him a little bit and eventually drops the argument with a little bit of a sarcastic chuckle and says, all right, we're moving on. We're on to the next.
The 1-0 with Pascal on third. Paints the black on the outside corner, strike one.
That was a nice pitch there from Abramson as he's trying to dial in here as he's staring down that runner 90 feet away.
From the stretch, the kick, the delivery from Abramson. He did go around, strike two.
Now he's in the driver's seat yet again in at bat. See what he goes to in the arsenal here to try to work out of a precarious situation. You don't like how close you've got that runner, and especially with the heavy bat in Cats.
1-2 the count to the Wake Forest man. The stretch, the delivery, as the Tom Sox bring the infield in. That one is hit high in the air, foul, and it'll get out of play down the right field line.
He straightens it out, kind of similar to one of the balls we saw earlier. If he can straighten it out, because it was pretty close, could have been probably extra bases there at the very least, likely scoring the run in.
Tom Sox have the day off tomorrow and then a couple of home games to start the weekend. Culpeper Cavaliers come to town on Friday. Dylan and I will have that one right here back on Tom Sox TV. The 1-2 hit in the air, right center field, going back at the track and over his head. Tommy Roldan bounces up against the wall, and that's going to be a stand-up RBI double as Pascal crosses the plate. And the Turks make it 7-1 as Chris Katz continues his stellar game, both at the plate and in the field, driving in the run. Tom Sox will face the Generals. I want to correct myself there. We will actually be playing tomorrow against the Stanton Braves. I'm not sure if that was a rescheduled game or not, but the Valley League website and the Tom Sox website have conflicting information. But
another 7:30 first pitch, so sorry guys for some of you who are enjoying the early bird special. It's a half hour. It's a half hour back. I mean, if it does inhibit your sleep a little bit, but
it is a road game, so no action at Seaville Weekly Ballpark or Willie T. Barnett Field until Friday. Let's go with that. As digging in is Canizaro, the first baseman.
and it's book night, so
oh man,
book lovers out there,
outstanding.
Oh, you better get ready. Now I know we're together Friday too. You're gonna get quizzed on some book trivia.
Oh boy,
whatever I can come up with.
Twist my arm. First pitch fouled away. It's 0-1. The 0-1 comes in, called a strike, and actually have a pinch hitter, Jackson Harris, out of Samford for Canizaro. So Canizaro's night is over. Native of Vestavia, Alabama, and he's down 0-2 in the count to Abramson. Abramson kicks, fires, called third strike right down the middle. And that is out number 2 as the Tom Sox look to limit the damage here in the 7th inning, down 7-1.
Mentioned before, Katz sending that ball foul into the, I'd say probably likely a souvenir for a kid, unless he wants to, of course, return it for a Freezy Pop.
I was going to say, when that announcement was made, I was kind of thinking I might keep the baseball.
Yeah. Freezy Pop's a solid trade. I think the Culpeper might have the most interesting offer. I think it's just a piece of candy.
Called a strike on the first pitch to Jalen Evans at the knees.
And a chance at a signed baseball. So I'm not 100% sure what the chance is. I guess if you want to take the chance, could be a good offer. Or you get a souvenir baseball. I'm probably leaning the baseball.
Gonna say, I mean, the 0-1. Although maybe if it's early in the game and the sun's out as the 0-1 misses upstairs, It's hot, kind of hot, beating down on you. Maybe you take the freeze pop there.
I think that might be the good deal,
But,
especially it's got to be right weather conditions.
Yeah.
It can't just be like a right now, especially
Yeah,
it's
the
getting
sun's
frigid.
down. It's a little cool.
I'm with you on that. Picking up what you're putting down.
1-1. Runner on second, 2 away. And Evans takes upstairs, ball 2.
All right, so I got to slide it in here because we talked my school in the previous inning. NC State, all the rumors. ACC, is it going to start getting poached like the Pac-12 was? Any thoughts on that?
The 2-1 coming into Evans. He is downstairs for a ball, and it gets away from the catcher, Levy, and he is shaken up as I don't know where that one got him. Runner goes down to third, and we'll have a quick injury break here as Randy Tomlin and Scott Strickland and company out to check on their catcher, and that would be a tough loss for the Tom Sox. But to your point, Dylan, now that we have a second, I'm hearing rumors about Florida State, possibly heading to the Big Ten. Fox really likes Florida State. Clemson is another school that the bigger conferences are looking at, and North Carolina is another school. And the North Carolina state legislature has been kind of hands-on about, making sure possibly if the Carolina schools do go their separate ways, are they going to still play each other every year? So it's a whole lot of whirlwind going on. But the 3 schools that I have heard that the other, the Power 2, as it were, are most interested in as the staff continues to check on Levy. It'll be a 3-1 count, runner on third. Those are the 3 that the Big Ten and SEC, really Fox and ESPN, are looking at.
And the Big 12's pivoted. They've already added a few schools. But ACC, they've gotten a couple now. See if maybe they can try to hold off any poachers.
It looks like Levy is going to be lifted from this game, so we'll have a pause as a new catcher for the Tom Sox, and this will bring the game to a bit of a stop here. As it's 7-1, Harrisonburg in front. They have 7 runs. 1 error hasn't hurt them. Tom Sox just 1 hit on the evening, 1 run, no errors, but just unable to really string anything together. As coming in for the Tom Sox in place of Levy, as I'm trying to see the number through the catcher's equipment, that is Cale Strickland, the son of Tom Sox assistant coach and former Georgia head coach Scott Strickland, who was on the staff this year. Cale is out of Auburn and wasn't expecting to get any action tonight, as you are as a backup or a second string catcher for a given game, but pressed into duty right now, so we'll see some more SEC flavor for the Tom Sox now that we were just talking about that. But yeah, I mean, the ACC's future is very, very murky right now, and kind of I'm kind of guessing along with everyone else, but the Cal and Stanford additions are very, very interesting. It doesn't feel the same as the Big Ten adding Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA.
Yeah, some of the more heavy hitters. And Florida State's lucrative, especially the rich alumni base down there in Florida, and then even going into North Carolina, UNC, the prestige of the program, all that. And Clemson, I mean, that just feels tailor-made SEC to go in there and get that Alabama, Georgia, all those big matchups. But right now, I would like to just keep things as they are. We already saw the Conference of Champions fizzle out, which was very unfortunate. No more Pac-12 after dark. I guess we'll get Big Ten after dark now. There's some rumblings. Rutgers, USC, they're going to play after dark one night.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
But I would personally just like everything to just stay as is, which in college sports right now is a very big ask, especially in the FBS. But I think it just needs to stop right here. Buck needs to stop here. I'm passionate about this.
Cale Strickland is ready from football to baseball.
Auburn football, very good.
7-1, Turks in front. It's a 3-1 count, Evans. There are 2 outs, and Katz is the runner on third for the Turks, who already have a run in here in this bottom of the 7th inning. From the stretch, Landon Abramson kicks, fires, and that pitch comes inside and goes right off the noggin of Evans and bounces about 20 feet in the air and hits off the screen. So that's what they call using your head, I guess, as that'll put runners on first and third for the Turks with 2 away, and they'll give Evans an extra second just to get his bearings.
In soccer, that's usually a great thing to use your head. In baseball, it does get you a base, and Evans does look to be all good. He's talking to McMullen over at first base and looks to be in good spirits, and that ball got some hang time as well, and ricochet back, but all seems to be well, and as there's a balloon that's set free actually just right in front of us now.
And backup this is your guy.
I'm happy. I wanted to hear it at least one more time, and it's Matt Delgado. I mean, next time I see him down on the field, I gotta shake his hand. I love the song choice. It got repopularized. Anyone But You that just came out recently with Glenn Powell, who's on a heater right now of movies and TV, and Sydney Sweeney. Great movie, by the way. Love the rom-com Anyone But You, but Unwritten. It's a banger.
First and third, 2 away as the Turks lead by 6 here in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch to the aforementioned Delgado is called a strike.
Jared Jones, he's using it out with the Pirates as his walkout song right now, on the bump. Specifically just because he said it's the only song he knows all the lyrics to.
The 0-1 to Delgado, swung on and missed. I'll do you one better. Back in 2002, I was at Turner Field watching the Braves play the Phillies, and I saw John Smoltz come out of the bullpen to Dancing Queen.
I like it.
That might be the best closer entrance song, talking specifically.
That is a good closer entrance song. I mean, Enter Sandman.
0-2 the count. Curveball stays upstairs, 1-2.
Tough song to mention, especially in this UVA fan base around here.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell anybody, except the people listening to this broadcast, I guess. 1-2 the count. First and third. Turks looking to get another run in here. From the stretch, Abramson. Ball hit on the ground. Just foul down the third base line as it ricochets off the door of the Turks bullpen. As one of their pitchers will jump the fence and collect the ball. That was Caden Koch. I almost said Matthew Delgado, who's the guy at the plate. I was looking at the wrong number.
Would have been impressive agility for him to get down there and retrieve his own foul ball. But
especially for a catcher. He faces a 1-2 count with 2 away. Abramson trying to get out of this inning as the Tom Sox have 6 outs left. And a swing and a miss, strike 3 on some high cheese. And that'll do the trick as the Tom Sox minimize the damage in the bottom of the 7th inning. But the Turks push that lead a little bit further from 5 to 6. It's 7-1 as we will come back for the top of the 8th on Tom Sox TV. Back in Harrisonburg, and it is once again Hudson Lee who has pitched masterfully in relief for the Turks, who lead 7-1. Luke Ned Carney, Dylan Price here as we go to the top of the 8th inning. And our discussion topic here for the late innings, we've had a mailbag fan question. The great Andrew Cox asks, who is the greatest Tom Sox player of all time? And boy, where do we start with that? Over the years, guys like Garrett Spikes from a couple years. He played here for 2 years. Vinny Pasquantino for the Kansas City Royals, I think would actually be my vote because he has had the most prominent major league career to this point.
my vote is going to be a more recent major leaguer, Wyatt Langford.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too. He has the record for the longest home run at the College World Series at Charles Schwab Field as the first batter for the Tom Sox, leading off the top of the 8th inning is Tommy Roldan, and he checked his swing, got hit. They appeal down to first and say he did not swing, so it'll be a leadoff hit by pitch for Roldan. As this is getting a little bit costly for the Tom Sox. You've already had Levy leave with an injury. Roldan favoring his right hand a little bit, which is where the ball hit him, but he's going to stay in the game.
Not ideal whatsoever, especially with the consistency that Levy and Roldan have brought to the dish. Still looks like Roldan just shaking it out and is going to run here. But we're at that stage in the game. We're down by 6. You maybe start thinking about maybe Roldan gets pulled in the next inning.
Another curveball here from Lee to the 3-hole hitter Johnny Lopez, and he takes it inside 1-0. Kyle Edwards, another name for greatest Tom Sox players. He's now with the Strasburg Express this season. Another Old Dominion guy as the 1-0 is swung on and missed 1-1.
So next question I'm going to play off of here, and you've got a lot more.
So 1-1 is swung on and missed, strike 2.
A little bit more VBL knowledge than me. Best VBL player of all time.
Oh, man. That's probably not anyone from when I was alive, maybe, just given how old this league is. And the 1-2 to Lopez. Hit on a line to right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Rounding second is Roldan. He will pull into third. And station-to-station baseball here for the Tom Sox to start this 8th inning. Runners on first and third with 1 out. I don't know about best, but most famous in Charlottesville, maybe. Virginia head coach Brian O'Connor, an alum of these very Harrisonburg Turks.
There we go. I'm scrolling through the list right now of some of the best. I mean, Jason Kipnis is one I just saw. Tommy LaStella, who played in Haymarket.
First and third, and it'll be Cale Strickland's turn for the first time today. He came in for Levy after Levy took a foul tip off the arm or shoulder. Couldn't quite tell which, as Cale Strickland takes a strike out of Watkinsville, Georgia. He is the son of Tom Sox assistant coach Scott Strickland, who until 2023 was the coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. Strickland fouls the 0-1 out of play, 0-2. Watkinsville about just 10 minutes south of Athens. Dogs just bowing out of the Super Regionals in 3 games to NC State. The 0-2 is down and in, 1-2.
Don't look now, though. Tom Sox, one of the best opportunities they've had yet.
The 1-2 called, third strike at the knees, and Strickland staring down the home plate umpire and not happy with that call, but what can he do but walk back to the dugout? As that's a big first out recorded by Hudson Lee. 7-1, 2 runners on. You know, you can't quite rest on your laurels if you're the Turks here, but that's a good start to the outs here in the inning as Miller digs in, and that will be a pickoff play to first.
You mentioned it. Wasn't 100% sure if they were going to do it, but as we're here in the top of the 8th, it looks like they're going to ride Hudson Lee. There's some stretching in the pen, but, I mean, and if things get more dicey, we'll see, but as the home plate umpire actually saying something to the dugout for the Talks.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that was related to Cale Strickland and his disagreement with that last third strike call. Scott Strickland, for his part, was also a catcher, so like father, like son there. First pitch to Miller, misses inside. Scott Strickland managed Kent State before he was at Georgia and took the Golden Flashes to the 2008 College World Series. The 1-0. Check swing. Did he go? No, says our first base umpire. It's 2-0. Miller wears number 21. Of course, worn by the greatest NFL safety of all time, Sean Taylor, as he fouls that one back out of play. The hardest hitting safety in NFL history. I can definitely say that much.
That's a very good point. I have to double check here because I forgot. Yes, okay. I was going to say Deion Sanders was a good poll as well.
Also number 21.
I had to make sure he was 21. For some reason, the brain started going 20.
And on the 2-1 count, it's now 2-2 as that one's pitch is called a strike to number 21 for the Tom Sox. Count is even at 2-2, first and third. As Lee tosses over to first and diving back safely is Lopez. Roldan's the runner on first, or runner on third, I should say. He walked the 2-2. That one misses. I'm not sure where. Hudson Lee wasn't sure where either as he takes an extra second on the mound.
Nearly right down the middle, but
count runs full.
Benefits Miller there and the Sox.
We'll see if we see Lopez go from first here. No, he holds up as that one came inside and got him on the elbow and Tom Sox now with the bases loaded, 1 out here in the top of the 8th. As you hear some of the fans express their displeasure. Not really sure what they're arguing, because even if that wasn't a hit by pitch, that was still a ball 4. And now for the Tom Sox, you know, they're not dead yet. Bases loaded here, down by 6. Time is called by the Turks, and we're going to have a mound visit. As that is Matt Majeski out to talk to his pitcher, Hudson Lee. Let's see if this is the end for Lee, as there's another lefty still throwing in the bullpen. It's just the catcher and the coach, along with Hudson Lee on the mound, as a couple of the Turks infielders are gathered around Johnny Lopez chatting. I don't know what they're talking. Maybe they're talking about the latest summer movies or the new Kendrick Lamar single, or I don't know. It could be anything.
Kendrick Drake beef has been referenced
Really,
a little bit
yeah,
at Willie T. Barnett Field.
I mean, why wouldn't it? It's the forefront of pop culture.
That is true.
Of course, the Eras Tour about to land in Liverpool this weekend, home of my favorite soccer team, the Reds.
Eras Tour continues to march on. Second summer. I remember last summer. Its big thing was the surprise songs. She's still doing surprise songs.
Yeah.
I think the counter reset. There's no way. I mean, she's got a huge library, but that's a lot of surprise songs. But I do believe they've reset as she heads in the international leg of this tour.
Visit is over. Ethan Gibson digs in for the Tom Sox out of Virginia Tech and takes a strike on an off-speed pitch. Hudson Lee now in a bit of a tight spot. Bases loaded, 1 away. Tom Sox down by 6, but looking to scratch into that lead.
So there was some jousting, speaking of the Kendrick and Drake beef, there was a fan who made a comment after Miller got hit with the ball for the Turks side, and some of the Tom Sox fans and media team as well, interns, whatever, down there as well, getting hyped up back now here for the Tom Sox, as they've got an opportunity to reel this game in and make it a little bit closer with just an out.
The 0-2 inside for ball 1. Count is 1-2.
Maybe the best chance the Sox have had all game to really cut in here with just 5 outs to spare.
Without question. I mean, we've only gotten our second hit of the game here in this inning. And a swing and a miss, strike 3 on a beautiful off-speed pitch by Hudson Lee. So he says not so fast. And Gibson down on strikes, which means it will be up to, guess who, David Wiley, to keep this inning going. He's got one of the 2 Tom Sox hits, a single to left field back in the 4th inning.
Well, Wiley is a Tom Sox fan favorite this season, his first game starting.
First pitch swinging, hit slowly on the ground to second. Evans up with it, the throw to first in time, and the Tom Sox squander a bases-loaded opportunity and will head into the bottom of the 8th, still trailing by 6. We'll come back to Harrisonburg right after this. This is Tom Sox TV. Back to Harrisonburg. Bottom of inning number 8 with the Turks ahead 7-1. They've been in front from the start here at Eagle Field, as the Tom Sox will send their 5th pitcher of the game to the mound. And we're finally breaking the lefty-righty pattern, as it's another right-hander, Will Banks, number 45. Big guy at 6'6", 225, Dylan, out of Davidson, Hickory, North Carolina native. And he will look to keep this deficit at 6 here in the bottom of the 8th.
We saw Banks come in this past weekend against Waynesboro and pitched an inning with a walk and blanked the Generals in the 16-1 victory. Now here just going to try to move the needle and get it back to last ups in the top of the ninth for the Sox and see if they can spark some offense. That was the best look they've had thus far. Second hit of the game off the bat of Johnny Lopez with a single, and they loaded the bases, did strand them, but bats are starting to wake up here at the tail end of the game after really being quieted since yesterday's game with just one run after the, I believe it was, third inning where they plated 7 in their 10-6 victory last night over Covington. Bats have been a little quiet, and Coach Tomlin's going to try to hope to wake them up, but for now it's the Will Banks show, and he tries to right the ship for a little bit here. Landon Abramson pitched 1 inning, allowed just a run on 1 hit with 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Worked out of a jam to end the inning and struck out all 3 outs he had. And Aiden Alexander as well. His night ended. He allowed a run, but a bunch of strikeouts for him as well. All in all, he had 4 and a pair of walks in a pretty solid outing from both Alexander, Abramson, and Stryker as well.
First pitch swinging for the leadoff hitter, Chris Zupido, who pinch hits and comes in and smacks it down the left field line, and it goes all the way into the corner. Zupido speeding around second base as the Tom Sox had some trouble getting that ball in, and that's going to be a leadoff triple for Harrisonburg here to start the bottom of the 8th off of Will Banks.
So I was saying something about righting the ship and sending it back to the bats. That's going to be a little bit of a tough start here for Banks. He'll have an opportunity to dial back in against Waringer, as that was in for Murdoch.
Andorowski for Murdoch there. Waringer, the third baseman. Banks from the stretch. Steams in a strike.
Play third baseman Brett Waringer.
Runner on third, nobody out. Tom Sox trail by 6. Banks at 6'6". Kicks, fires. Batter did not check his swing. He went too far around, and it's 0-2. And I might be showing my age here with this comment, but Will Banks, that's the first name of one character from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the last name of the family from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Not showing your age.
Okay, I didn't know.
A little bit. I mean, I did watch it on Nick at Night.
The 0-2 is hit in the air, right field. Camping under it and making the grab is Roldan. And his throw to the plate is going to be not in time as the Turks plate one more run here. Bases will clear on the sacrifice fly, and it's 8-1 Harrisonburg.
That was a good piece of hitting there from Waringer. At the end of the day, it's just get the ball up and get the ball in play in a situation like this, and he did exactly that, and I mean nearly had the throw from right field there, and Roldan, after getting hit on the previous inning, was able to get the throw in there almost on the line too.
First pitch swinging from Spencer Butt. Pardon me, that's another pinch hitter, Jack Torbett for the Turks. Ground ball to third, picked up, and the throw gets away from the first baseman, McMullen, so that's going to be an error on the Tom Sox and allows Torbett to advance to second base.
Torbett, second at-bat for him from Walters College. I think I said Jack Walters earlier. It's Jack Torbett from Walters College. A little nod to his college out there, but a really good job there. I mean, just that's why you run every ground ball out, because Miller's throw, tough play coming all the way from third to first to try to gun him down there, especially because he's got a little bit of speed, and you saw him race around there on the errant throw. And now, once again, runner in scoring position here for the Turks. They're 3 runs away from putting an end to this one, but in the top of the frame, they'll have an opportunity to do just that regardless.
Digging in for the Turks, top of the order, Anthony Pascal, who's had a great game. Will Banks out of Davidson with a runner on second. 1 out following the error. It's the second error on the Tom Sox tonight. First pitch called a strike, and about 5 or 6 years ago, I was refereeing a high school basketball game, and before the game, they were playing the theme from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I noticed I was the only one singing along in the whole gym. So I felt old that day for sure. The 0-1, down and out, 1-1.
I would have been jamming out there with you.
I should hope so. It's an absolute banger.
I've watched just about every episode. It was a Nick at Night show, just kind of like Full House, that then I decided to binge. I have the whole Full House,
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
box set. And then I got into the Fresh Prince, and then, the George Lopez at 3 a.m., too.
The 1-1. Banks fires. Check swing. He went around. Strike 2.
Coldest entrance to a concert I've seen in recent memory. I went to Luke Combs at Lincoln Financial last summer. So in the heart of Philly, a rain delay for a while, lightning delay. Concert started about 3 hours later. Luke Combs goes on just before midnight, comes out to Fresh Prince before he
Amazing.
started the show. It was top-tier entrance.
The 1-2 from Banks. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And he says, yo home, smell you later, as that's the second out of the inning.
I see. That was a good one. Tip of the cap to you, Luke.
Unfortunately for the Tom Sox, that's one of the high points tonight as we're down 8-1 here in the bottom of the 8th. But a good-looking pitch there by Will Banks, and that's the second out of the inning. As another pinch hitter comes up for the Turks. Cam Nelson's night is finished. Here comes Luke Hatcher out of the University of West Georgia.
Not West Philadelphia.
Pitching for
Nicely done.
the Wolves of West Georgia, number 33, Luke Hatcher.
Hatcher getting some serious time the other night. He started in right field with a bunch of hits as well in that contest. All in all, Hatcher doubled, singled, and singled again. And reached on error. Reached safely in 4 of his 5 plate appearances.
First pitch is in the, I can't really say in the dirt because it's not dirt, but bounces in front of the plate. 1-0. I don't know if you've ever broadcast softball, but I have trouble with not saying mound, saying circle instead of mound. Definitely caught myself doing that a couple times.
Got the opportunity to hop on Big Ten Plus for the all in all 4 or 5 games of Penn State softball's season this year.
Hatcher swings at that one, hits it high into left center field, medium depth, and the ball just drops right out of the glove of Johnny Lopez. A run's going to score. That makes it 9-1, and the Tom Sox should be out of the inning, but Alice just did not catch the ball. That was the only way to explain that is Johnny Lopez did not catch the ball.
The lights, it's hard to get a good read on a ball at this point in the night. You can very easily lose a high fly ball, especially one that had a lot of movement on that in these lights. And Hatcher reached on an error last time. These two teams clash. He'll reach there. It's tough this time of night, like you mentioned it there. It's those moon shots that you have to track and have some depth perception. I certainly couldn't do it, so I tipped the cap to Johnny for even trying, but it's a tough read on it. And now, just when you thought this inning may have concluded, there's still a bit more behind it.
Chris Katz now at the plate. A home run ends it here on the run rule here in the bottom of the 8th. 1-0, misses as the pitch misses downstairs. Strickland tosses his mask off to chase after that one.
But going back to your circle does throw me off. It was one of the first things getting the broadcast softball a couple years ago that really took me by surprise because I had watched a little bit of it, but I had never called it. And the circle, it gets you at first.
Yeah. The 1-0 is hit sharply on a line to center field. Lopez fields it on a couple of hops. Throw comes into second. Hatcher scores, and it's 10-1 Turks with the quote-unquote walk-off winning run standing on first base.
Yeah, they have 2 outs here, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to get them around as we see another pinch hitter, Jackson Harris, now going to come in here, I believe, for Jalen Evans. And it's about time now for Bob Weiss. He's putting all the reinforcements in, give everybody a little bit of a night off because it's been that kind of the night for the Turks. And on the other end of things, it's been a just tough night at the office for the Tom Sox. These nights happen. It's a long season. And Turks have kind of had the advantage over the Sox in the early going of this season.
First pitch swinging is high out of play down the left field line. It's actually coming in for Canizaro in the cleanup spot.
I think I'm one step back on the scoring. There's been a lot of craziness in this inning.
I mean, this inning alone, we should be. Tom Sox should be batting right now in the top of the 9th. Down 10-1. 3 errors in this inning alone for Charlottesville. The 0-1 hit high in the air again, foul, and that gets out of play too.
Extra bases likely scores that pseudo walk-off run here and puts a period at the end of the sentence and the story that's been this game. And now we'll see if there's a little bit more life in the Sox, and they'll still have last ups here and a chance, but this has been a tough inning in trying to come back.
Banks comes set, fires, misses outside, and it's 1-2.
These two teams will see each other again next week at home ballpark yet again at CHS, June 21st.
The 1-2 swung on, couple of hops on a chopper to second base. Easy play there for Landon Bruce. Over to McMullen at first for out number 3. And the Tom Sox give up 3 more. It's 10-1 as we head to the top of the 9th here on Tom Sox TV. Luke Nadkarni, Dylan Price back with you in Harrisonburg, and it has not been the Tom Sox night tonight. Some days you get the bear, other days the bear gets you, and Dylan, tonight is no question as to which one that's been for your Tom Sox.
It's been a tough bout for the Sox tonight, as you've alluded to, Luke. They'll be back at it again tomorrow. They'll head to Stanton, John Moxley Memorial Stadium. Then you and I will be back at it again June 14th, and that's this Friday. Book night against Culpeper. If you can't make it out, well, you can tune in right here or on Facebook Live, but at CHS. So get that book knowledge ready, and then matching night on Saturday. Super important night at CHS, and then the week will round out at Casey Field as the Covington Lumberjacks will host the Sox to end the week.
Oh, matching night. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
I believe it's donation matching night.
Ah, okay. I thought it was like matching clothes, and like Mike Bolger is going to be on the broadcast on Saturday, and I would have to wear like
actually no,
ugly,
you might be
ugly
right.
Christmas sweaters or something. I don't know.
I believe it is matching as it pertains to donations, 501c3 that are the Tom Sox, but also I believe it is matching day.
As leading off for the Tom Sox in the top of the 9th inning is Jack McMullen, and he lines the first pitch down the right field line, bounces just fair, and that's a leadoff double as it rolls all the way to the wall for McMullen. So his first hit of the ball game comes in the top of the 9th against a new Harrisonburg pitcher, Benjamin Craig, 6'3" lefty out of UMBC, native of Kieseltown, which is about 10 minutes away from this very ballpark. So he's playing close to home, looking to close things out here with his team up 10-1, but has a runner on second base.
It is matching day, though, so get ready. You got to
All right.
talk to Mike. You guys got to figure something out. I'm expecting some very good matching. Unless he's already agreed to match with someone else. Then it might be dicey.
We got a couple days to figure it out as the first pitch comes in as a strike at the letters to Landon Bruce, the 9-hole hitter. Craig looks back a couple times, comes set, misses outside. JT Andorowski, by the way, who pinch hit in the last inning, comes in to right field as a straight substitute for Ethan Murdoch. So he is now at that position. There's a big gap in right center field for Landon Bruce, who faces a 1-1 count. The lefty delivery called a strike, and it's 1-2. So we get a little organ rendition of Jump by Van Halen.
That was something for sure.
Boy, our music guy, whoever it is,
He's put on a clinic tonight.
spoiler, it's David Argo. As the called third strike comes in over the inside corner and there's one away. He's got some competition here.
I thought you were going to give another tip of the cap. They have done an incredible job tonight on the music. Yeah, and as you mentioned, I'm expecting David Argo Friday. It's going to be personal for him. He's going to be trying to lay the gauntlet down.
Here comes Ryan Wynn, who's had a tough night at the plate. Only time he's gotten on base is because he has been hit by a pitch. As Tom Sox have just 3 hits on the evening, equal to their number of errors. First pitch from Craig, off-speed pitch over the outer half, strike 1.
Craig's appeared in 2 games thus far, pitching an inning in both, 2 innings in total. 1 hit, 1 run, not earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Has one of the 4 flat, no-run ERAs on this Turk squad.
Same pitch, same result, 0-2 now. As Roldan is on deck for the Tom Sox, who will look to turn things around tomorrow when they pay a visit to the Stanton Braves. As the 0-2 is called, third strike at the knees, and Wynn not happy with that one. But, I mean, at this point in the game, what can you do? Tom Sox trying to get that runner from second home, and it's up to Roldan now with 2 away in the 9th.
Wynn didn't love the call, and as you mentioned, it's been a tough sledding last few innings, especially for the Sox with the errors and whatnot, and some tough calls, and now as well with Roldan nearly being clipped again.
He's already been hit once and had to jackknife out of the way of that fastball as Craig misses well inside. From the stretch with a runner on second, the 1-0 misses outside. Johnny Lopez would be next for the Tom Sox if they can keep it going. 10-1 Turks in front. This one's been all Harrisonburg from the jump. The 2-0 is hit high in the air, shallow center, and actually it's going to be the second baseman, Evans, coming out to the grass to make the catch, and this one belongs to the Turks. Harrisonburg gets over 500 for the moment as they beat the Tom Sox 10-1, improving their record to 5-4 in the 10th. Send the Tom Sox offense looking for answers heading into tomorrow's clash with the Stanton Braves.
Yeah, it was a tough one. You did see the Sox offense start to maybe come alive in the last 2 innings. But as we mentioned, going back to yesterday, it was a Sox offense that was stymied after posting 7 runs in the bottom of the 3rd en route to a victory yesterday. And then come today, it seems like the Turks have been kind of the kryptonite to the Sox thus far in the early part of the season. It was a 12-8 win on Sunday, now a convincing 10-1 win here at Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park tonight. They'll go up against each other again on June 21st. I believe it's Festivus night.
Oh, my favorite.
At Charlottesville High.
I have a lot of favorites.
There's a lot of favorites. I've gotten to know that about you, Luke. We'll be together again on Friday. Looking forward to it, Luke. But it was a beautiful night here at the ballpark. Tough loss for the Sox, but as you mentioned it, you get back on the horse tomorrow. You head out to Stanton in a season series. They've split thus far. Stanton took the first in the season opener, and the Sox were able to actually mercy rule Stanton the last time out against him. That was actually last Thursday. They'll go head again tomorrow, but they'll try to get one back.
Final line score for tonight's teams. Tom Sox, 1 hit, 3 runs, 1 run, 3 hits, 3 errors, and the Turks with 10 runs on 9 hits and a single error as they take this one by 9, 10-1. Dylan and I will rejoin you tomorrow or Friday night as the Tom Sox will be taking on the Culpeper Cavaliers, but they'll be at the Braves tomorrow as they look to start a new win streak. For Dylan Price, I'm Luke Ned-Carney. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Once again, our final score, the Harrisonburg Turks 10, the Charlottesville Tom Sox 1. We'll talk to you next time on Tom Sox TV.